Today I'm going to teach you a technique called velveting. Have you ever been to a Chinese restaurant and the meat is so deliciously tender that it almost just falls apart in your mouth? That is a technique probably that they used called velveting, and I'm going to show you how to do it with pork today. You don't have to use pork, you could use chicken or beef. It works on any type of protein. So here's my ingredients today. Again, things that I just had laying around. You can use whatever you like, but I use fresh cloves of garlic. That is kind of essential for this one. I use this mushroom all-purpose umami seasoning. You don't have to have that, that's optional, but you do need pepper, and ginger is really nice in this dish. I have snap peas, but you could use snow peas, and some yellow zucchini squash, a little bit of cornstarch that is also necessary, water, chili garlic sauce is nice if you like a little kick. If you don't like the spice of it, you don't have to put it in. If you don't have it, you could use chili flakes. And then we have the gluten-free soy sauce, because I'm gluten-free, so that's what I have, but you can use any type of soy sauce that you like. And then the rice vinegar is the seasoned kind. And we have asparagus again, just because it is in season. And then the egg, we're just going to need the egg white, carrots. These are Chinese chives, like an Asian chive, but you could use green onions or scallions. And then I have a baby bok choy. Isn't that so pretty? And then a pork tenderloin, a little bit of pork tenderloin. That's maybe like the third of a pork tenderloin. And then right there in that one, we have a little tiny bit of maple syrup just for sweetness. Honey would work as well, or sugar if you don't have either of those. So the first thing I want to show you is we're going to do a diagonal cut on everything today. You need to hold your knife at an angle and slice like this. Now, it looks fancy, which is really nice, but there's a reason for doing it. When you go to an Asian restaurant and they have things sliced on the diagonal like that, what it does is it gives the vegetable more contact with the pan. So, like the carrot now is going to have a lot more chance to contact with the pan, and it causes more caramelization. It makes the vegetables cook quicker. So it's a great technique for not only making the vegetable beautiful, but it has all those other bonuses as well. See, look how much contact it's going to have with the pan now just by slicing it that way. So that's why whenever you want to do a quick stir fry or something, you want to use that diagonal technique. And you can use it on any vegetable. I'm going to show you here. Even a zucchini, you can just cut it down a little bit and then use that diagonal technique. So you're still going to get more contact with the pan and more quick cooking and browning. And so that's a great reason to do it. The Chinese chives are awesome. Now, you can get so many of these for so little money, and they have really strong flavor and they're wonderful. If you don't have them, you can use scallions for sure. But I just really like the freshness of those chives. And I was at an Asian grocer, so these little bok choys are amazing. So I got this giant bag of these at an Asian grocer. Now, if you don't have the baby ones, because they're not easy to find in a regular store, take the regular bok choy and just cut them down into manageable pieces like that. They give off a lot of water, so basically you need to cut them just a little bit bigger than bite-sized pieces. And so Here is pork tenderloin, and you can see the striations running that way. That is the way that the meat fibers go. So you want to cut across those to get a wonderful mouthfeel. However, pork tenderloin is so tender usually anyway. You don't have to worry too much. It's so forgiving, especially with this technique that we're going to use today. But you want to cut your pork into little pieces that are going to quickly stir fry easily. So just give those a little chop. And now for the Chinese velveting technique for extremely buttery, soft, melt in your mouth, stir fry meat. So the first thing you're going to want to do is separate the egg yolk from the white. And you want to save the yolk for another use. And then you're going to go ahead and put your meat into the white. It's actually good to beat the white a little bit here if you can. Oh, I'm showing you my paint smudges. I'm an artist, so sorry. Sometimes the ink and paint doesn't always come off. I just want you guys to know that's what that is. But anyway, you take a little bit of soy sauce. It doesn't have to be a lot. And you're going to season the meat with that. Just put a few dashes over your meat. And then you're just going to add a little bit of the white pepper. And black pepper is okay, but white pepper is more traditional for the same kind of flavor that you're looking for. I love this mushroom seasoning, so I'm going to put some of it on there. It adds an umami flavor and promotes a little bit of browning too, but you don't need it. The soy sauce will do the same thing. Now, if you have any big stringy pieces of egg, get that out of there. I know, that's gross. And sorry guys, but I don't want that in there with my meat. I actually probably should have beaten the egg white a little bit. And then you just add some cornstarch. You're just adding enough to make a very, very fine coating over this meat. And then you're just going to let it rest. Let it rest for 15 minutes to an hour. Now, you're going to add in a little bowl the soy sauce, equal parts soy sauce and rice vinegar. And then the chopped minced garlic that we had minced up earlier. And you're going to add that. You're making the sauce basically. Now, the chili garlic sauce is amazing. And if you like a little bit of kick, you can add some of that in there. I didn't put very much today. And some grated ginger. You do need to grate the ginger. In this case, I run my knife through it to make sure it's nice little pieces so nobody bites into a big chunk of spicy hot ginger. That's maple syrup, and the thing about the maple syrup is you can use honey or you could use like a tablespoon of sugar, but it just adds a little bit of sweetness. And then I'm just adding maybe like a teaspoon or so of cornstarch to that. You don't want a lot. And then you have to have all of your ingredients ready. Everything needs to be ready to go so you can just grab it. And this process goes pretty quickly. I use sunflower oil in the pan. You will need a little bit of oil, and your pan needs to be pretty much smoking hot. I put the meat in a single layer. I want it to be all having contact with the pan. And you see I'm not stirring it up. I don't stir it right away. I just give it 20 seconds in the pan by itself so it can really have some good caramelization happening with that smoking hot pan and the oil. And what's happening is during this process, the egg and the cornstarch are forming a layer around the pork, and the heat seals in that layer. So all of the juices that you would normally get when meat starts to cook that flow out, they stay in, and that's what makes that velveting technique so special. Doesn't that look delicious? Now I just added the sauce to the pork and then the Chinese chives. And I'm just gonna give those a quick turn in the pan, literally. This part doesn't take long at all. And see how it turns into this beautiful, delicious coating. On the meat and the chives. The cool part about this is that there's so much flavor in that sauce that we just created with the pork. We really don't have to do much seasoning to the vegetables. So I didn't even clean the pan or anything. I just put the pork in a separate bowl and set it to the side. And then I add the vegetables that are the longest cooking. So in this case, it would be carrots. Carrots usually are. And I'm trying to make sure that everything has good contact with the pan here. Give it the chef shake. And that chef shake is a great way just to get foods distributed in the pan really quickly and evenly. Now I add those little bits of water, and I'm just covering this for a moment. Do not cover it for very long. You're just wanting to get a really bright green, beautiful color on those snow peas. I think they're snap peas. I keep calling them snow peas, but they're snap peas. So you're not wanting to add a lot of water. That's a little tiny bit of soy sauce just to flavor it. Not much. It's not even really necessary. So then I set those aside. Unfortunately, if I had a huge wok, I could do all of this in one batch, but I don't. So this is what I have to do. Now, putting the lid on, you don't need to add any water. Bok choy has a lot of its own water. So I literally am just on high. I put the lid on and I'm just letting it steam through a little bit. Again, see, just looking for that really bright color. And then the asparagus, because they don't take very long at all. So now I have all of the green vegetables in there, and I'm just going to give that a little toss. You could add more oil if you need to or want to. I put a little bit of coconut aminos on there just to make sure that it has its own flavor. I like to season as I go, and I think that's a chef's secret right there, is to season in layers instead of all at once. So now you add the pork back in, and all of the beautiful juices of the pork and the scallions will coat all of the vegetables. And then suddenly you have just an amazing stir fry. Now, I love brown rice. I love the nuttiness of it, so I'm going to serve this with a little bit of steamed brown rice. And just put it in a bowl and start layering your stir fry in there. Make sure everybody gets a little bit of all the goodness. You know, that meat is so tender, it's impossible for me to show you on camera. But truly, it is absolutely delicious. And just like what you get at a Chinese restaurant. Just kind of melting in your mouth because of that velveting technique. It's really, really a delicious and special technique. I learned that a long, long time ago reading an authentic Chinese book on how to cook Chinese foods. Now, most of you did not see this other part, but before I made this stir fry, I had put this amazing crumble in the oven. This is a gluten-free cherry, blueberry, and apple crumble with an oatmeal topping. So I had stuck that in there because, you know, if you eat all those vegetables, you have to have something to follow. Maybe, wait. Wait, okay, I'm not gonna say anything more about that. I'm just gonna say yes, we deserve it. So I make myself some whipped cream. I make my whipped cream with just a little bit of heavy cream, a couple tablespoons of powdered sugar, and a little dash of vanilla. And this is the kind of recipe that I will go over in detail at another time, but the food was so beautiful, I just had to show you. I can teach you right now, this is what you're looking for when you want your whipped cream to be a soft peak. See how you pull it up on the batter and it will just gently fold over on the end, and that's kind of what you're looking for. So I promise I'll share this one with you guys in the future, the whole recipe. It's really delicious, and even if you're not gluten-free, you would never know because oats are so amazing. So thanks for coming along with me on this cooking journey today, you guys, and I can't wait to make more cooking videos just for you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.